Hi everyone. Do you wish to invest in Sri Lanka? What are the capabilities here? What is the best industry to choose? Stay with us. After the end of this program, you will find the true story behind Sri Lanka. Today our discussion is about why must you consider Sri Lanka for a joint venture for footwear. We have invited and cordially welcome Mr. Rangith Hettiarachchy, Director, Cleaner Production Center, former Chairman, Advisory Council Footwear and former Chairman, Ceylon National Chamber of Industries. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, when we are considering about the 21 industrial sectors in Sri Lanka, the footwear industry is the most leading industry in Sri Lanka. So, what do you think about the footwear industry in Sri Lanka, sir?
Footwear industry has so much of potential because footwear has already become very essential thing for people because barefoot people are becoming less and less with the development. So footwear has become more or less a basic requirement for everybody, but now it has become a fashion item just to showcase yourself, and for sports specialized footwear and for various sicknesses specialized footwear. So footwear has developed so many useful new products. So it has become a part of our life, part of human beings, and it is not an industry that will get distracted. For example, like Kodak cameras or whatever it is, or land phones. These are products that is disappearing from the world. But footwear is not facing a situation of that nature. It will never get distracted. There won't be any alternative also, but developments will be there to make you comfortable and fashionable. So there is a very good future for this industry.
Yeah. So now as the Industrial Development Board, we are focusing to develop our economy in an export oriented one. So how can we convert this local industry in footwear to export level?
Yes, because Sri Lanka is a small country, everybody knows the buying power of Sri Lanka and the requirements of Sri Lanka and various categories that we can sell in Sri Lanka. So it is limited. So essentially, any industry cannot survive with a small market. So definitely it has to go for export. But export has become more important today because Sri Lanka is having a very big requirement to earn more dollars because we have to import so many items to Sri Lanka, including petroleum and various other products we have to import. So we have to earn more dollars. So Sri Lanka's first priority is earn dollars. For that, I feel footwear is a very good industry which has a very big potential.
Yeah. Then sir, as an investor, why must investors select the footwear industry to invest in Sri Lanka?
Because Sri Lanka has a long history in footwear production also. From period of Britishers, we have commenced making footwear in Sri Lanka. So there's a generation, there's a huge experience of producing footwear in Sri Lanka. So now we have to currently change our requirements, change our production systems to suit the export market. That is the most important thing. So that can be done. So footwear can go for export. Domestic market is important, but domestic with the base foundation of the domestic market, we can go for export. So the chances are there. And The other reason is, everybody knows with the pandemic, there was a big problem in the whole world faced a big problem because everything was produced, the basic requirements from chips to various things in China. So the whole supply chain, there was a big breakdown because we have put all the apples in one basket. So now world has realized that sourcing areas, new sourcing areas has to be developed. For that, in that manner, Sri Lanka is one of the best suitable countries because mainly our location. Because Sri Lanka, if you put it in a world map on a flat table, Sri Lanka more or less in the center of the world. From China, it's a 15-day sailing. From Sri Lanka to European countries, it's about 15 days sailing. So if we are catering to European market, we cannot find a better place than Sri Lanka. And the location is so good, especially for footwear, because most of the raw materials are coming from Far East. Japan, China, Taiwan, Malaysia, these are the countries where we can get raw material. In addition to that, we are very close to India. India is doing very well in footwear and very well in tannery industry. They are supplying very good leather. Because today the footwear, when you say footwear, it is mainly exporters are thinking about leather footwear, not any other footwear. Because European countries doesn't take any footwear with synthetic material. Polyvinyl chloride, PVC upper material, PVC sole-in material. These are not considered environmentally friendly, and health-wise, these are not considered as the best. As such, Sri Lanka has an advantage on the location. In addition to that, Sri Lanka has a lot of other facilities because our forts, they are very efficient, and we have added a new fort in south. On top of that, the developments are taking place. Our ports are expanding, investors are coming, and they are thinking of Sri Lanka, Colombo port as a main hub, especially countries like India. They do a lot of exports through Sri Lankan port, Colombo. Then Bangladesh, they are even thinking of having a separate facility in our port for their export products. So it's a transit point, very good transit point, and from Sri Lanka, the efficiency has improved, the loading facilities and unloading facilities, even motor car industry in India, they are using Sri Lanka as a port to distribute their products to the whole world. So there is another advantage of that. On top of that, footwear is an item everybody knows. There's a lot of human factors involved. Stitching. We have proved, Sri Lankans, we have proved in garments our capabilities of stitching. Garments are mainly depending on stitching, quality of stitching. We have proved to the whole world that we are market leaders. We can make it for any brand, and we are capable, our young labor, they can be trained very fast, and they follow, and they religiously follow quality standards. So we have a good background to improve the footwear industry. In addition to that one, footwear requires the labor, because there are so many things that can be done from the machine, but labor involvement is very important. So Sri Lanka, that way, have the advantage. We have a young population. We have a population willing to work in these factory conditions. With that one, because earlier footwear industry shifted from European countries mainly because of the labor. It moved to Far East, Korea, Taiwan, Japan, because of the labor. Now Vietnam is becoming another footwear sector because main reason is labor. So Sri Lanka also, we have that requirement. On top of that, we have so many other advantages where I mentioned earlier, where the other countries doesn't have. So footwear we can definitely go, and we can see a big change in the world now. European countries, especially Italy, Germany, France, now they are moving to footwear industry. But they don't do the whole shoe in one place, because that concept is going out from the present industrial scenario in the world, because you don't do whole finished product A to Z in one factory. For example, mobile phones. It is assembled in China, but China doesn't produce a single material or chips or anything for the mobile phone. It is all brought from other countries, but assembling is done. So footwear also, we can join the supply chain, world supply chain, and become a major supplier for European countries, and they will do the finishing part of the shoe. So footwear industry, I feel, in next decade, most of the footwear industry final production might shift to European countries. So Sri Lanka can become a supplier of components, because components supplying is very good, because there the conformities will be less. In addition to that one, when we are supplying components, all the development work is done by the buyer or the importer. So we don't have to do R&D, and they will do the designing. They will select the colors suitable for the season, the shapes, the designs, material, everything, and they will be nominating the reliable suppliers for the same item with quality standards. So footwear industry supplying components from Sri Lanka, definitely there will be a big advantage.
Yes. Now for an industry, I think raw material is the most important factor. So in footwear industry, most of the raw materials are not available in Sri Lanka. So why are you suggesting this industry as the best industry in Sri Lanka?
Because now without having the raw material, still you can develop industry. There are so many examples in the world, right? That I don't have to name it, because everybody knows the chocolate and various other products are made in certain European countries, but raw material is not from their country. So importing raw material with the improvement of the shipping and logistic facilities, it's not an issue. So getting raw material from other countries and doing some products in a different country has become the fashion now, because sailing time is very much less, because most of the raw material is coming from Far East. For Sri Lanka, it's about 15 days, and in Sri Lanka, for export, there are special facilities. You can import raw material and the machinery and the required equipment, everything duty-free under TEEP scheme. That is temporary imports for processing for exports. Under that, any industry can import raw material without paying a single cent of duty, because it is given as a special concession through the Export Development Board, and that way the raw material is not an issue. Raw material, only issue is actually getting the raw material on time, fast, with lesser lead time. So Sri Lanka has the advantage of getting the raw material at a very short lead time, especially from China. And in addition to that one, India is a leather manufacturer. So leather also, it's a duty-free item for manufacturers. So leather also we can get it, and leather is the most essential thing, important thing for footwear exports. Because if you are not doing leather shoes, actually you cannot consider you as a footwear manufacturer, real footwear manufacturer. And in addition to that one, now most of the designs are changing, because upper material is becoming changing, upper designs. It is one piece upper mid upper, that is either woven uppers. Most of the sports shoes is using this kind of uppers. Those uppers we can get it in bulk from Chinese sources specially. So in Sri Lanka we can do the assembling because our workmanship, the quality, because of the quality level standard is very high, so we can do the assembly. Because even at the moment, the biggest sports footwear manufacturers, they don't have factories. They don't have a single factory. If I name it, I don't want to give publicity, but if I name it Reebok, Fila and Adidas, these factories, these manufacturers, these producers, they don't have factories. They do the development, they do the designing, everything, and outsource it from various countries. Even India has become a major supplier for these brands. So why not Sri Lanka? Sri Lanka also can do it because we have, as I mentioned earlier, efficient infrastructure, especially our port operation.
Yeah. So when we are considering about an industry, I think there are a lot of strengths there. As well as a country, Sri Lanka, yes, we have lot of strengths with our own. So what are the strengths in this industry and as well as in the country?
Because one thing is, as I mentioned, Sri Lanka was producing their own requirements, footwear requirement for a long time within the country. Mainly the school shoes, more or less 100% is produced in Sri Lanka, and even beach slippers, what you call the rubber slippers or Hawaiian slippers, actually produced in Sri Lanka, but Sri Lanka has done so many changes in that one. We have repositioned this product. Earlier it was common man's shoe, but today rubber slipper or beach slipper or flip-flops have become the fashion item because manufacturers has managed to reposition the product. That way there is a big demand in the world, especially tropical countries in the east and west. There is a big market during summer. Most of them, they prefer to wear flip-flops. So that way you can see these are the strengths what we have developed in Sri Lanka. So it is a matter of expanding this strength and spreading this to new products. That is the requirement what we require. Because now sports shoes are becoming actually what, if you say sports, people think it is all sports shoes. No, it is not genuine sports shoes. There are genuine sports shoes for cricket, football, rugby, running and all that. But common people, now they are moving towards sports shoes. Actually, you may not get surprised if you hear sometime in offices in couple of years time, there won't be any person of officers wearing dress shoes. They will move on to casual clothing plus sports shoes, because sports shoes is becoming more or less essential thing, and it is becoming a daily use product. People, especially traveling, you will notice if you go to any airport, most of the travelers are dressed with sports shoes these days. So the trends are changing. For that kind of production, Sri Lanka is an ideal place.
So throughout our discussion, we have discussed about so many supplying of components. So what do you think about the supplying of components? What are the importance of that?
Yes, supplying in components, there is a big advantage. Because one thing is R&D work is not our responsibility. It is done by the buyer or the importer. And development, design, what is suitable for various seasons, the colors, the shape, all that development is done by them. Then marketing, also not our producer's headache. Collection of cash, is not our headache, because we will be producing as per the orders. As per the orders are booked before the season commences, and our job is ensure that we deliver the merchandise at the right time. So we have proved that is possible in the garment industry, because it is changing. Even footwear, we had to do it, because if you miss a season, actually next season you may be not in a position to sell the same footwear, because there's a saying now, footwear while wearing, it is becoming outdated, because fashions are changing so fast. People are changing for various styles, various colors, various heels height, various things. So as such, joining hands with the major suppliers, we have a very big advantage, because most of the headaches are taken over by them, but we have to ensure on-time delivery and quality. So that definitely Sri Lanka has proved very well about our quality.
Sir, next we have to move on to the sustainability in this industry, because if I am a investor, so definitely I will focus on to the sustainability in this industry. That is the most important thing. So can you explain about the sustainability in this footwear industry in Sri Lanka?
As I mentioned to you earlier, because this industry is not going to be distracted by any other product. Even you will get a shock in certain countries, 2025 or 2030, sometime you will get a shock. You will not see fossil fuel driven motor cars, petroleum based. It will be all electric vehicles, the way it is changing. So certain things are changing so fast. But footwear doesn't face that at the moment, because footwear requirements are becoming more and more, because technical required footwear development is becoming another big product, especially for forces, because they need very good shoes to wear for a longer period, comfortable, lightweight. So every country has forces, everywhere disputes are there. So footwear as a safe for forces shoe is a must. Then safety shoes, because safety requirements is always going up with the development of the society and the country. So there are certain jobs, definitely they have to wear safety shoes. On top of that, there are some health reasons. For health reasons also, you need specific footwear. There are, especially diabetic is another sickness becoming major sickness in most of the countries due to various food habits and all that. Because of that, there is another big requirement for health issues, health concern issues. Then specific footwear for sports, because sports is another area where people are willing to pay very good prices for specific comforts and quality to safeguard your ankle, safeguard safety reasons, and to continue in sports you need very comfortable shoes for particular sports. It can be football, it can be cricket, rugby, any other sports, skiing, specific footwear. So you need various kind of, and safety shoes also, once again I like to remind, because there are so many requirements where it is conducive to use it with high power supply work. They need specific shoes. Then they need specific shoes to combat battles and walk in areas where landmines are used heavily in countries where there is war. So you need the safety shoes with specific safety requirements with steel plates and all that. So there is a variety that is getting added to footwear, not only just covering footwear, they are put with some other material. There are specific requirements are coming. For children, there are specific requirements, the shapes and tightness, comfort, then various special linings are used to absorb moisture and to keep it warm or keep it cooler. Footwear, there is special kind of lining material. So things are moving in the footwear production with the changes that is taking place in the world. As it is changing, it can survive. If it is not changing constant, then there will be some replacement that will be coming, like electric cars are coming. But for footwear, there is nothing in the horizon at the moment. So there is nothing to worry about sudden change of choices, requirements by customers. This will be there for a long time, but with added features, added requirements.
So, thank you very much, sir. This is the end of our program, and it is a big privilege for me to having you here, sir, in this program. If you are an investor, we hope that you found true story behind the Sri Lankan economic situation currently. So, as a responsible government organization, Industrial Development Board invite all the investors throughout the world, please come and join with us. Sri Lanka is the best place for your investment. Thank you.